and she was coming on to me. She wanted to suck my dick. We went back to a place. You know, we had fun. I know that she loved it. I know that she loved sucking my dick. And then she's like, I didn't like it at all. And he's like, yeah, so it was good. It was good. And the jury's like, that's an innocent man. Oh, what? Excuse me? Like, literally, that's just told. It's like, yeah, we went back to a place. We had some fun. Boom. Dick got sucked. It was good. And the jury's like, oh, this Miss Man is innocent.
Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video.
How can you be a skeptic?
There's no eyewitness. I mean, you know, Bigfoot has eyewitnesses.
Please.
But now, chat, we must move on to Daredevil, all right? We got Ben Affleck's Daredevil, directed by Mark Steven Johnson, chat. Yes, he has a serial killer name. All his first, last, and middle name are all first names, chat, and it's fucking horrifying. Other than that, chat, I have a question for you. Before I go ahead and start talking about this film, before I share my overall opinions on it, I need to ask you a very important question. That question being, how many of you have seen the Ben Affleck, the Mark Steven Johnson directed, the 2003 superhero film, Daredevil? I watched Daredevil in theaters when I was 9 years old. I watched it too. I think I was like 11 or 12 when I saw the movie. Yeah. I fucking love Daredevil. Since you told, I use him a lot more than Ultimate 1 and 2. In the Daredevil Netflix series. Yes, that is true. But what about Daredevil 2003? He shows 3 times. I have not since Cast Fame. Saw this. I don't think Ben Affleck was the worst choice. It sucks, sure, but he was. I agree with you. I don't think he's the problem with the movie. I did, but I don't remember much. Mass Quartet. That's fair. That's fair. Not much to remember, except for the Evanescence and the Seesaw. I saw it as a kid, Person Man. Doom. I saw it. Chris Ayres. Yep. I used to think it was connected to Raimi's Spider-Man when I was 6. It's stupid. I could see that. I could see that. Yeah. This movie's terrible, says Blind Justice. I've seen it on TV. It's a movie. Yes, it's one of those FX on USA Today kind of movies. TNT, TBS. Watch Evanescence music video 20 times before watching the film whenever I pop the VHS. Oh, yeah, it's so fucking good. Blind Justice, I sure did. I watched the theaters. Kingpin best in it. I guess I think he's. We'll talk about the casting, chat. There's a little bit of a controversy. I think they did something kind of shitty, but we'll talk about it. Blind Justice, hate it. I saw an alternate version in theater. You saw an alternate? Now, there is the director's cut, which has an extra 30 minutes. It's darker. It's R-rated. It's more violent. There's a lot of drug use in the film. Coolio plays a drug addict. He does a pretty good job in the movie. But they cut all that out to give it that PG-13 rating, Chad. They didn't want fucking Coolio on drugs, okay? No kid wants to see Coolio on drugs, Chad. That's not cool, yo. That's not cool. As I'm sure the executive said. Dad says, me. Doug and I seen it and was so confused. Brasden, good to see him. Not being rude, but I thought it looked bad as a young buck. No, it's fine. I think a lot of people thought it was bad. I'm not the bad guy. Even though I've murdered dozens of people so far in the movie. I'm not the bad guy, kid. I'm just severely beating your father until he will no longer be able to walk. I'm not the bad guy. Although, to be fair, Daredevil does do that shit. He doesn't. He's like, I'm going to beat you. You do not want to be caught by Daredevil. Spider-Man, yeah. You should be like Spider-Man because he won't hurt you that much. I mean, he'll fuck you up a little bit, but you'll be like, you'll be able to walk afterwards. You'll be able to use your arms. Daredevil, he will not. He will break. You'll be meat and bone and cartilage. Oh, my Lord. Batman's performance of Batman and Robin, yes. he's better than this movie. I used to inevitable doodle bob segue. Oh, Koki, how did you know? How did you know, my friend? Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that prepped right now. Oh, you know me too well, my friend. Yes. Good, I was tripping and going to Gay Spirit. Goddamn right. Oh, chat. There it is. Okay. That'll be a nice little surprise. But, chap, like many of you, I have also seen this film several times, actually. I did see this in theater, And I was a Daredevil fan back in the day, I think this was like just before or during the famous Brian Michael Bendis run in the comics, which I absolutely loved. And later on, Ed Brubaker, chat. Before this, of course, you had Kevin Smith's run, Guardian, which actually wasn't too bad. Kevin Smith actually in the movie makes a cameo appearance, chat. And, you know, I mean, you know, probably before, like, even Bendis or Brubaker or like other people that eventually started writing the character. Mark Waid, of course, Mark Waid, and I think Charles Soule most recently. And then you famously had the Frank Miller run, chat, which is what this movie is loosely based on, the death of Elektra, incorporating like other things too. But it's mostly the death of Elektra storyline, which is a very famous storyline that got Daredevil comics in the, I want to say the 70s at the time, so late 70s, early 80s. And I'm a fan of that work too. That was before Frank Miller lost his fucking mind and was actually producing some really great quality content. Thank you, by the way, to Xenomorph on Board. Oh, that's a great fucking name. I love that. I'm a huge Alien fan. Xenomorph on Board, welcome to stream. Pure, perfect organism. I admire your purity. Welcome. Talking about 2003's Daredevil. And so I was excited. I was excited for a Daredevil movie because I always thought he's an underrated character, and I loved it when he like originally appeared in the Spider-Man animated series in the 90s, chat, where he fought the Kingpin. I thought that was so cool. And when I saw the film, when I saw it, I was like, you know what? I liked it. I didn't hate it. I wasn't going like, this sucks. But I wasn't in love with it like when I originally saw the original X-Men at the time, or Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man movie, or even Blade. Or no, nowhere near Blade. But I thought it was infinitely better than Hulk. The thing was, at least I felt like there was more happening in that movie. There was more action scenes. It was dark. It was brooding. Very much like me. There was a lot of, clearly, Mark Steven Johnson was heavily inspired by The Crow, because I feel like you can take out Daredevil and just put The Crow in there. It's like, oh, it's a Crow sequel for the 2000s. That's what it feels like, chat. But I know that, because that was 2003 was a really fun, and this was a weird year. This was just a weird, like, period of time for comic book films, chat. It's like, I always say Blade is very much the grandfather of the modern-day superhero film. Then you got movies like X-Men and Spider-Man, which kind of help form and push it forward. But then you got like a lot of bullshit, a lot of crap for quite a few years. You know, Ang Lee's Hulk and the Fantastic Four movies. You got Catwoman, of course. And then we started to get like some good stuff like Batman Begins again. And then we kind of hit the modern era, where I consider to be the modern era of the comic book movie, which is 2008's Iron Man and 2008's Dark Knight. So I would say, like, for the past 13 years, we've been in that era of comic book films, and it's been pretty good. Yes, there's been stumbles, of course, but for the most part, it's been pretty solid. It's been pretty solid, Chan. I really appreciate it for that. And Daredevil is one of those, it's like, I don't think it's as bad as Fantastic Four or Ang Lee's Hulk. It's not good. It's goofy as fuck, and, you know, there's some bad things in this. And it makes some of the same mistakes as some of the most notoriously awful comic book films of that era. But there is something to it. Like, there's some good ideas, and I'm sorry, I'll say it, but I don't think Ben Affleck deserves the vitriol that he got for this movie. I think it was a combination of certain things. One, the movie wasn't really that great to begin with, and I don't think that was his fault. And the other thing is, that was during the period of time when everyone was like making fun of Ben Affleck and his relationship with J-Lo. I think that's what kind of added to it. People were just like, yeah, we're done with Ben Affleck, which that's shitty to me. I don't think, like, you know, listen, I'll make fun of his performance in this movie. Again, I don't think it's his fault for the most part. It's the direction, it's the writing, but I don't think he does a really bad job. And I don't hate the costume either. I mean, it's very leathery, although you can even say, like, Daredevil's costume incorporates some leather, and how do you translate that? I mean, I prefer the Netflix version. I love the utilitarian nature of it. It feels very realistic. I love the padding and stuff. I think that's cool. But I also don't mind his costume either. There's some other stuff that just doesn't fucking work, like the setting, the constant fucking rain. Jennifer Gardner is woefully miscast as Electric Nachos, chat. Woefully miscast. And as is Colin Farrell as Bullseye. Matter of fact, years later, Brian Michael Bendis, he was forced to use that version of Bullseye in his run for a period of time. And he actually had it where Daredevil, like, made fun of the way Bullseye looked, like with the fucking, you know, Bullseye and his fucking carved into his head like a scar. And it's like, what the, he's like, I remember there's a famous, I'm trying to remember that panel. You can find it online where Daredevil's like, what the fuck is that in your head? Did you do that to yourself? Just making fun of him. Yeah, he's so over the top. He's like a gimp. He's decked out in all leather and all black. Colin Farrell is at a constant 11 throughout the entire movie. He's ridiculous. And then you have Michael Clark Duncan as the Kingpin. And it was weird because the producers, they specifically, the reason why they cast him, this is what they wanted for the Kingpin. They wanted a big black guy. That's what they wanted. Which I'm like, that's kind of, you're just casting Michael Clark Duncan for his physical appearance. It's kind of, I think, kind of shitty. I mean, don't you care about like his ability as an actor to play this character? It's like, no, we want a big fat black guy. I was like, all right. He's not bad in the movie. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he has a lot of screen time. He's not really in it all that much. Mostly focused on Bullseye. He just shows up a couple of times. And you know, like, I mean, he's such an integral part to Daredevil's history. He is his ultimate foe, shared villain, you know, obviously Daredevil and Spider-Man stuff, but more so a Daredevil villain. And yeah, I just felt like Michael Clark Duncan deserved better. I know that some fun facts about it, like he put on like 50 more pounds to play the role, and famously said he wanted to continue playing the character. He actually did return to play him in kind of like weirdly connecting the Daredevil movie to the Spider-Man Raimi film, where they did that MTV Spider-Man series, which was heavily based off the original Spider-Man. It was in between the first Spider-Man film and the Spider-Man 2, and it came out and it had that awful fucking animation, and I really disliked it. But he reprised his role as Kingpin for that movie, and he fought Spider-Man. But I don't know if that was like that meant that this movie's connected to the Raimi films. I have no fucking idea. Yeah, the weird CGI cartoon, that was him. And then he wanted to go back to play the character. You know, years later, he's talked about that, but it never happened. And obviously, he passed away in 2012. I want to say it was 2012, 2013. It was almost a decade ago at this point. So, but yeah, I feel like that was kind of shitty on the producer's part. There's like, you know, again, the producer being. I mean, you know who it is. Avi Arad, chat. We wanted him because we wanted a big, fat black guy. It's like, okay. All right. Avi Arad, continuing to being a piece of shit of a human being. So I feel like that's shitty. I think that's pretty shitty. And, you know, other than Ben Affleck, I think he gives the second strongest performance in the movie, despite some of the dubious nature of why they wanted to cast him, Chad, not for his talent, which it's fucked up to me. It's fucked up. But overall, yeah, it's a huge misfire, chat. It made a little bit of a profit. It had a budget of about $78 million. Box office 179.2. Nowhere near the success of the X-Men films, which this was made by Fox. Fox used to own Daredevil. Nowhere near the success of the original X-Men, or most recently, of course, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man show, which I think it went on to like gross like $800 million, if not more. And so they're like, all right. And then, of course, they greenlighted a spin-off movie of Jennifer Garner's Elektra, which actually killed the Daredevil sequel. There was plans to make a Daredevil sequel, even though Ben Affleck had already been talking about how his experience making the movie was pretty rough, and he didn't like the suit, and he swore at the time, Chad, he swore, I will never dress up as a superhero again. And and years later, about a decade later, he was eventually cast as Batman. I feel sorry for him. I wish, because I know he clearly loves the character of Daredevil, and he loves the character of Batman. It's just, it hasn't worked out for him, chat. But it's never his fault. It's never his fault, chat. Yeah. He learned to regret it again. Yeah. Michael does bring that Boston energy, though, also bring from the hood. Myself, I love his line. I was raised in the Bronx, Wesley. Some of you wouldn't understand. Okay. We'll talk about that line, because he's like, I'm going to fight him myself. But even though throughout the entire movie, he sends goons to fight Daredevil. It's like, if you want to take care of this yourself, man, then do it yourself. Handle it. But he's like, no, not until the end. That's until every other piece on the chessboard has been knocked away, leaving the king himself. So, but yeah. Like he does bring good energy for it, but I think it's really shitty that the reason he was just cast was his physical appearance and not because of his acting ability. But he does fine in the movie. He's fine in the movie, Jeff. And thank you again for the 10 biddies, Luke the Boss. Appreciate that. But now, chat, let's go ahead and get into the scene by scene details, chat, of Daredevil 2003. We start with Daredevil, Matt Murdock himself, chat, bleeding on top of a church. We see all of his entrails and bloody giblets falling upon the face of the Virgin Mary in the rain, chat. And he's like, this night is not going well for me at all. And I imagine he loses symbolism, chat, his sacrifice for the people of New York, for the people of Hell's Kitchen. It is an allegory, chat, for Jesus' sacrifice for our sins. Now listen, I'm not making fun of Matt Murdock's, Catholic faith. Matt Murdock's Catholic faith, Daredevil's belief in Catholicism, is actually a big part of the character. That's where he's constantly, he's got that classic Irish Catholic guilt. And he's always had throughout his entire life. And so I'm not like, I don't like the fact he's religious. No, I actually like the fact that he is religious. I think that's interesting. A lot of superhero characters, like heroes, don't really go into the religion too often, where where Daredevil and Matt Murdock's Catholicism is a huge part of his upbringing and his character and what guides him. I think that's always pretty cool. I don't think it's used well in this movie. It's later on used, like, great effect in the comics, of course, and definitely in the Netflix Daredevil series. And Charlie Cox does a great job. Here, it's just it's window dressing. It's just like, it's not here. It's like, oh, let's have a man who's struggling with his faith, but he's also a man of the law, but he also breaks the law. Like, let's get into that. And it's literally, they only talk about it maybe once or twice in the movie, where that's like a constant thing that Matt has to deal with in the series. Here, it's just like, just throw it in there, the rest of the shit. But he's bleeding out, and eventually he's like, I gotta climb down. He fucking climbs down. He falls to the fucking church, chap. Boom! And he's in the pews and stuff, and he takes off his mask. Why are you taking off your mask, man? Why are you doing that? Everyone, it's a running gag in the Marvel universe that, like, everyone knows that Matt Murdock is Daredevil. He has such a hard, he's worse than Spider-Man when it comes to people figuring out his secret identity. He's like, everyone knows who he is. And he has to deal with that for fucking years. And he's like, I bet you're wondering how like the fucking Ferris Bueller moment. He's like, I bet you're wondering how I found myself in this moment. Well, let me tell you. And we cut back 20 or so years ago, chat, to a little baby boy, Matt Murdock, chat. He's living in Hell's Kitchen, the most dangerous part of New York City. Now it's called Clinton, Chad. It's been gentrified. And so with his fake CGI, there's a lot of fake CGI jumps. How is he jumping like that? I get Spider-Man can do that. I know fucking Matt Murdock. He's a master gymnast, but it's like he's fucking making Spider-Man fucking leaps. It's like, how are you doing that, Ben Affleck? Not explained. Not explained, chat. But we're in Hell's Kitchen, and it's like, ooh, Hell's Kitchen in 1970s New York. It was such a dangerous place, crime-ridden. But now it's like they're calling it Clinton now, and it's been completely gentrified. You have, millennials and Gen Zers and coffee shops and bistros and bars and grills, and it's fine. And overly expensive apartments where you're basically sleeping in a coffin every night. That's Hell's Kitchen now. But back in the day, chat, back when old Matty Murdock was growing up, it was the worst, chat. And it's really bad because even the Sopranos are there, chat, because Matt Murdock, every time he's going to school or from school, AJ Soprano, remember that fucking scene where it's like, that's fucking AJ Soprano from the Sopranos, chat, starts beating the shit out of him with his two bully compatriots, chat. He's like, hey, Murdock, get your fucking ass over here. Do you got my homework in gabagool? And Matt Murdock's like, I will not do your homework, AJ Soprano, and I do not have gabagool. I am Irish. I'm not eating them cured meats. And AJ Soprano, he ain't gonna fucking stand for that, Chad. He needs his homework and he needs his gabagool, and so he constantly fucking beats up Matty every single day, Chad. And so Matty just fucking sits there and takes it, Chet, takes it. Eventually he goes home where we see drunk dad. We see Jack Murdock, chat, who called the Devil. He's a former boxer, chat, and now he's a drunk. All he does is drink fucking whiskey all day and smack around his kid. And like Matty, he goes in there, it's like his dad's just covered in pretzel bits and like a leftover sandwich, chat. That's there, crumbs everywhere, alcohol, beers, and Matty cleans all this shit up. And his dad's like, stop taking my beer, I'm gonna fucking drink it. He's like, but Dad, you've had enough. He's like, don't tell me that I've had enough. And eventually Matt runs away. He's like, I fucking hate you, Dad. And he goes into his room. Eventually, Jack Murdock, he eats the sandwich and he sobers up a little bit and he goes in there. He's like, I'm sorry I yelled at you, Matty. It's just, I've fallen on hard times. We've fallen on hard times, and you deserve better. You deserve better. He's like, I got better, Dad. I got you. Oh, man. And he sees the shiner he has on his eye. He's like, who the hell do that to you? Who did that to you? And he's like AJ Soprano. He's like, oh, fuck. I ain't messing with no goddamn Sopranos. Okay, shit. All right, listen. Don't fight back, okay? The only thing you gonna be hitting is them books, Maddie. You hit them books. Don't be a bum like me. A fucking bum going through life, eating sandwiches and gabagool and drinking all day, okay? Don't be a washed up bum. And, Matt Murdock, he's like, all right, Dad, I won't do that. But you're probably wondering, what does Matt Murdock's dad do for a living? Because he's eating a lot of sandwiches, drinking a lot of beer, and eating a lot of gabagool. Someone's got to be paying for all that, chat. And so we follow Matt Murdock. He's going home from school, but he sees someone accosting the gabagool salesman, chat. And who is accosting the gabagool salesman? Jack Murdock, chat. He's fucking beat him up, and he's like, you better give the kingpin his cured meats, okay? He wants the red peppers, and he wants the gabagool. And he hits him, gives him the Jack Murdock special, chat. And Matt Murdock, he's like, Dad, he's like, oh, Maddie, he's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Come here. He's like, get away from me, Dad. I hate you. And he runs away. He runs away, chat, and he runs into, somehow sneaks into an industrial yard, right, where they got these big old barrels, chat, of green ooze, chat. And one time he goes in front of this one guy who's, operating this machinery, his forklift filled with all these barrels, and he's like, oh, jeez, watch out, kid. He has to get out of the way because Matt Murdock just stands there like a fucking deer, not knowing where he's going. He misses. He doesn't run over Matt Murdock, Chet. He misses because if he hit him, he would have been fucking dead. He would have ran him over. He would have been dead. But he does careen. He careens into the ooze, Chet, and punctures the ooze. And Matt Murdock gets a big old spray of that green ooze in his eyeballs, Chet. And we see the ooze. It goes down into the grating, chat, and falls into the sewer, where we see a rat with 4 turtles, chat. Daredevil and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are in the same universe. That's confirmed. Famously, chat, that's the same ooze. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were originally a parody. It's a parody of Frank Miller's Daredevil, chat. Because you have so in Daredevil you have the Hand Clan, this organization of ninjas who controls all certain aspects of the world, and that's a Daredevil enemy. And then in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles you have the Foot Clan, but that's what it is. It's the same thing, so it's cool. They're all connected, chat. But that, my friends, is a story for another time, chat, because now we are literally with little Matty Murdock, chat, as he's screaming because all of the ooze is inside of his eyes, chat, or what's left of his eyes. You scream too if you had secret green ooze just sprayed straight into your eyeballs. And he's freaking out, chat, and Jack Murdock comes over. He's like, oh, Matty, what'd you do to yourself, Matty? Oh, Jesus, God. Oh, Jesus. And we get a CG. We're now inside little Matt Murdock's eyeballs, and they're all CGI, chat, and they're all dying. But suddenly, chat, we see this red light start shooting, like red electricity shoot through his eyes. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I don't know what this is all about, but okay. And it shoots through his eyeballs, and then boom. We were with him in a hospital, chat. He's got these covering on his eyes. He's but all of a sudden, chat, he's able to see. I guess that's Daredevil's superpower, is that he sees even better than anyone else, which is kind of ironic. He's supposed to heighten his other senses so he can hear things especially well. He has a great sense of smell, of course, touch, all that bullshit. But he's like, no, he just sees even better, and he's like a bat. He has that echolocation, chat, got that sonar, and he can hear everyone fucking walking around, sends it a sonar signal, and so he sees everything kind of monochromatic. It's kind of like that color, a lot of black and white, a lot of blue and heavy gray, chat. So he's got that sonar, right? And he's like, Eventually, Jack Murdock, he comes in, and he finds, Maddie in the corner, standing there like it's the Blair Witch fucking project, chat, popular with the kids back in the day. And Jack's like, Maddie, I'm so sorry. I'm a bum. I told you I'm a bum. And your eyes are messed up, Maddie. I'm sorry. But then Maddie comes over. It's like, it's okay, Dad. I'm just going to guilt you every Christmas to get me the best present ever. He's like, I'm going to do that, Maddie. And so Jack, he reforms. He becomes a better person, Chad. He goes back to the gym because he's going to restart his boxing career, Chad. That's what's going to happen. He actually gets good. He gets good at boxing. But what about Middle Mac Murdock, Chad? Because he discovers I have echolocation now. And so you think, oh, this is when he's going to meet the character Stick, you know, famously played by Scott Glenn in the Marvel Netflix. Daredevil. Does a fucking great job, Chad. But no, he just trains himself. He just trains himself, chat, like, out of the fucking blue. Like, he's running around and everything. He learns Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu. He literally knows Kung Fu out of the blue. He's hopping on, he's becoming little CGI Matt Murdock boy. He's hopping on the rooftops. It's like, there's no explanation as to why he's able to train himself. Makes no sense at all. AJ Soprano tries to accost him one more time, and he just slaps he gets a little, and then, but first of all, it's like, at least like some Stephen King as bullies. I know he's the son of Tony Soprano, but even Tony Soprano's like, AJ, don't be messing with blind kids, AJ. What the fuck did I tell you? What the fuck did I tell you, okay? Now get the fucking gabagool. Jesus Christ. Fucking kids. But AJ Soprano apparently really wants to beat up. He wants to beat up blind Matt Murdock, chat. And as we know, Matt Murdock has become an expert in Kung Fu, even though there is no Stick in the movie. So, weird. Stick does appear in Elektra. That is true. I think Terrence Stamp plays Stick, if I'm not mistaken, in Elektra. But yeah, it's weird that he's in that movie and he's not in, because he's a member of the Hand and shit, but he's not in this. It's odd. I don't know why. I felt like we've got to like cut him. To me, like if he should be in the movie, because that would make sense as to why Matt Murdock is able to do all these amazing things, because he's trained by a fucking master assassin and ninja and mixed martial artist. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Here he just learns it, and I was like, all right, that's kind of lazy. But AJ Soprano, he's like, well, I'm a Stephen King bully, and I'm the son of Tony Soprano, so I am going to accost you still for Gabagool and my homework. And Maddie's had enough of that, chat, because he literally just grabs his stick, his little blind stick, and he just beats the shit out of AJ Soprano, just slapping him on the face, chat, until his cheeks, his plump little cheeks, they got scarred by the stick, chat. Maybe he was taught by that stick. I don't know. But he scares the shit out of him, and then we get the one shot of him saving Stanley. Like, Stanley, I guess, was confused, chat, and he was, like, wandering off into traffic, but he's saved by Matt Murdock, chat. It's like, don't do that, Stanley. It's like, thank you, child. Excelsior. That's my cameo, everyone. And then we continue on. And we're now in a boxing arena, chat, where Jack Murdock, he's having a comeback, chat. He's been winning fights recently, and now it's like, oh, this is going to be a big fight. You can make a lot of money, chat. Make a lot of money. And he's being told, this point. Oh, yeah, that's what happened. Before that happens, I forgot. So he's won all these fights. He's been doing well for himself, right? But then he's approached by a member, an associate of the Kingpin of Crime. Ooh. And he comes in, he says, hey, Jack, congratulations, all your fucking wins. He's like, yeah, man, just, I'm doing for my kid. He's like, yeah, you poor, crippled kid. Listen, I want you to do something for me. He's like, I don't work for you guys no more. He's like, yeah, you do. The thing is, I've been paying all these fucking guys to throw the fights for you, man. You're still a fucking bum. And it's like, oh, no. Oh, God, no. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, listen, you make a lot of money for your kid, make a lot of money for yourself, get yourself a better place, get yourself some gabagool, some sandwiches, some fucking beer, some whiskey. You love that shit, don't you? Don't you, Jackie? Throw the next fight with Biggs McGee, where the hell his name is. And then we cut to the fight. And, Jack is like, oh, fuck, I gotta throw the fight. But then he hears this, son, you can do it, Dad. You can do it. I believe in you. And he's like, I can't do it. I gotta do it for Maddie. And so he beats up Big McGee, Chef. But, the Kingpin associate took note of that. And right when he's, like, getting out of the locker room, he is grabbed by the associates of the Kingpin, who then start to beat the shit out of him, Chef. It's like, Jack Murdock, come on. But I guess it's only one-on-one. He's good. But it's more than one. Oh, shit. Gonna get his booty butt kicked. And little Matt, he's standing outside the venue, and he hears his dad getting the shit kicked out of him, so he starts running, Chad. He starts running towards his dad. But then we cut back to Jack Murdock, who's on the ground, Chad. It's New York, so it's all covered in filth, I guess. Just, trash, and it's raining, and it's dried cummies everywhere, Chad. But then you literally see this car just, like, it just lifts like a foot off the ground because there was a very large man inside, Chad. Who's that large man? Michael Clark fucking Duncan, chat. The Kingpin. We don't know it's the Kingpin yet, but it's the Kingpin, chat. And he's boom, boom. He's like walking towards good old Jack Murdock, and we just see this big old CGI black fist. Just one punch. Pow! Right into the face of Jack Murdoch, chat. Head just goes, just explodes. It's like, Jesus Christ. But the Kingpin, he has a calling card. Like, why would you do this? You're a master criminal. Your whole thing is that you pose as a businessman, a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, and no one knows about your criminal activities, and yet he always leaves a calling card with his fucking fingerprints. He leaves a single red rose with all of the victims that he kills, chat. And so he throws it upon the meatball spaghetti body that was Jack Murdoch, chat. And then he leaves with his boys. And then little Matty Murdoch, he stumbles over the meat that is was his dad. She's like, oh, Dad, no. You've become gabagool. Good old Jack Murdoch, chat, became what he loved, chat. Gabagool. We then cut, and it's many years later, and apparently Matt Murdock is a vampire because he wakes up. This is weird. And I guess I was like, I was so confused when I first saw this device in the movie. I was like, what the fuck is this? But I understood what it is now. But he sleeps in a water coffin, a metallic water coffin, chat. Like, and he sleeps in an isolation chamber. That's what it is. Which they actually use for therapy and stuff, like physical therapy and things. And like relaxation and spas, but it opens up like a sarcophagus, and he steps out of it. Chat. We see, good old naked looking Matt Murdock, Ben Affleck. Chat. He's now Ben Affleck now. And he just like, first of all, your skin must be destroyed by that eventually because you're constantly in water for hours upon hours and hours. But I was like, what the fuck is this? And so what this is, chat, that thing closes sarcophagus, you're filled with water, and so it blocks out all the sound because he's constantly hearing all this noise, so he can't sleep. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I get it now. I never understood that before. The water sarcophagus, the isolation tank. That's what it's supposed to be. I was like, what is this? Because I was a dumb little kid. I didn't know what was going on. And so he gets out, and it's just a day with Daredevil. He looks like he's got all bruised up, chat. Looks like he's got some broken ribs. He's not looking good. He looks very sad, too. He looks very sad. But it's like, hey, this is the life in the day of Matt Murdock, chat, lawyer, attorney. Now, this is when we get to the point in the movie where it's clear that the filmmakers don't understand what a defense attorney is and what a prosecutor is, because we go to his first court case and they present Matt Murdock as a prosecutor, which that's not accurate. He's a defense attorney. And then later on in the movie, they constantly refer to him and his partner, Jon Favreau, who plays Foggy Nelson, Nelson and Murdoch, chat, as defense attorneys, but they're literally suing this guy who raped this woman. They're representing this woman who's suing this rapist, this mob rapist guy who's just, I got to rape. He's really into raping things, chat. And literally, I'm like, he doesn't know how lawyers work. So I'm like, okay, he does not understand the justice system. It's funny because the first line out of Ben Affleck's mouth is like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, justice is blind. Literally. Literally, I'm like, oh, God damn it. God fucking damn it. And it's like, my client was cruelly raped by this mob rapist, okay? Put him in jail. And then the mob guy, he gets up on the stand while, Ben Affleck's giving him the third degree, and he listens to his heartbeat, and he knows based on his heartbeat that he's a liar. Chat, right? And he's talking about, listen, I went to the fucking club, and I met, Jeanette, I don't know what her name is, and she was coming on to me. She wanted to suck my dick. We went back to a place. We had fun. I know that she loved it. I know that she loved sucking my dick. And then she's like, I didn't like it at all. And he's like, yeah, so it was good. It was good. And the jury's like, that's an innocent man. I'm like, excuse me? Like, literally, that's his story. It's like, yeah, we went back to a place. We had some fun. Boom. Dick got sucked. It was good. And the jury's like, oh, this man is innocent. This is an innocent man, chat. Justice isn't blind. He gets off scot fucking free. And it's like, what the fuck? What? And fucking Elson's like, oh, his closing statement was really good about, you know, getting his dick sucked, and it's like, okay. Okay. Are we defense attorneys? And Jon Favreau was like, I don't fucking know, man. I directed Swingers. I don't know what's going on. Hey, at least Jon Favreau realized what not to do when it comes to a comic book movie when eventually he would direct Iron Man, chat. This is a good learning experience with him. America, the power of the judicial system, America, chat. But hey, just because this guy got off scot-free don't mean he's gonna get away with it, chat, because then we get a suiting up montage, chat, and we go back to the home. Because little did you know, chat, little did you know that Matt Murdock, he is secretly the devil of Hell's Kitchen, chat. He is a vigilante that resides in New York City. He is the Daredevil, chat, the Daredevil. And we get a montage of him putting on really dark red leather, and he gets like his, I forget what his nunchuck, not his nunchucks. What the fuck, what's the thing that Bullseye, not Bullseye, what's the thing that, his billy club. His billy club. He gets his fucking billy club, which also is his cane, which I'm like, I don't think you should have that be the same thing, because, you know, that might be discovered later on in the movie, and and then Joe Pantoliano from The Sopranos, a lot of Sopranos actors in the film, Joe Pantoliano from The Sopranos will then realize, oh, Daredevil and Matt Murdock are the same person, because Daredevil is blind, because this is Daredevil's stick, and it's literally the same fucking stick I saw him use at the benefit. So, not smart on, first of all, who fucking made all this shit for him? Who made his suit? Who made all the gadgets? Not explained. Not explained. Early 2000s superhero films, with maybe the exception of Blade, because Whisper, you know, Whisper made all the gear, and he has all those contacts and things, so that made sense. But, like, early 2000 superhero films do not go into details how they got out their shit. X-Men, you have no idea who made the Blackbird or how Xavier got all this funding. Like, we know he comes from wealth, but it's like, you built a giant fucking hangar underneath your house. How did you do this? Now, I guess it's the CIA, but you find out later on First Class. But before then, they didn't explain in the original movie. You had no fucking clue with the Blackbird and the suits and everything. It's like, how is this happening? Or like in Spider-Man, how he made his suit. Like, you literally, what happens is, because Sam Raimi realized, like, I don't want him to spend time him making a suit. So I understand he did a little trick. He tricked the audience where he had Tobey Maguire draw all that shit, and then we just cut that drawing to him in the suit. And he's like, he tricked us. He tricked us, but I see what you did there. I'll allow it, but no explanation. He's just literally telling me. I guess he just stole all the money. He just stole all that goddamn money. What was thinking to me is, the scene made me laugh as a kid because I was like, they find this charming. Yes. Yes, they do. Oh, my Lord. But he suits up, and he does a weird CGI Billy Club, like, rope trick, and he does all this, and it's like, why are you doing that? That must have just been for him. He's getting, like, pumped up or something. And then he's like, I'm going to go find me a rapist, and I'm going to kill him. But I'm not the bad guy. I don't kill people. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You killed someone to make it out. The train did it. Okay, sure. We then cut to a set from The Crow, where the mob guy is hanging out with all of his I assume all the other extras that were holdover. They just lived there. I think when they shut down the Crow production, all those extras had nowhere to go because, you know, they weren't paid much. And they're like, let's just live here. And, you know, they thought, hey, Daredevil's coming out and they want to have the aesthetic of the Crow. Let's just offer our services. So they are literally using the set from that bar, that really just awful looking fucking bar from The Crow. And I'm like, wow, okay. Also, we get random fucking shots. There's a lot of CGI of Ben Affleck hopping around as Daredevil, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, again, Daredevil's a very grounded character. I know we see in the comics, like, he's all doing crazy jumps in the air, and that's just for the art, and, like, the showing the beauty of it. Like, that's what it is. But I really like how they do with Charlie Cox. Like, he's very much like, oh, fucking Jesus. Like, he's hopping on rooftops, but it's fucking difficult. Here, not for Ben Affleck. He is literally making 100-foot leaps in the air and, like, onto, like, 20 stories, chat, to the next building, hops down on the concrete ground, knees don't fucking buckle and just, you know, shoot out of his ass. No, he's totally fine, but okay. So maybe, hi, welcome to the stream. Montage of him wearing the suit, CGI knees, he's gonna go kill a rapist, summer baby. Welcome to the stream. So we cut to the bar where the rapist is with all of his other rapist friends from The Crow, and then Daredevil is just literally in the rafters. But I'm like, I don't think he wants to hide because he's in the one well-lit place in the bar, and they all go, what the fuck is that? And it'd go, hey, look, freak show, it's not Halloween. And then Daredevil was like, I'm not here for Halloween. He's got like a Batman voice, how appropriate. He goes, so what are you here for? I'm here for justice. And he jumps down and he starts fighting all these guys, and it's not really well choreographed. Unlike the action scenes, maybe, you know, in Blade, which, you know, they're awesome. They still hold, other than the CGI that they occasionally have in that movie, the hand-to-hand fight scenes, like in the fucking, you know, the rave party and stuff, and some other fight scenes later on, like really well handled. But this is a fight scene where they're like, we don't really know how to fight, and so they shoot around it and stuff. It doesn't look that good. Eventually, the rapist is like, uh-oh, I gotta get out of here. Avenge me! I'll avenge you, Danny. Finish it. And so the rapist is like, I'm gonna go to my favorite place in New York, which is the subway, which is also equally really, really gross. But Daredevil, now, remember, like, I will say, fucking Ben Affleck gets a couple good pops in the mouth, chat. A couple good pops in the ribs. He's not like, you know, you can't touch this. No, he's getting hit a little bit. He does meet up all those guys. Eventually, he confronts the guy in the subway, and he kind of does like a dick move where the guy's on the edge of the subway, like, you know, before like on the tracks, and Matt Rider just goes, puh, and he pushes him. He fucking pushes him, and he falls back, and he clearly breaks his fucking back or like makes himself a paraplegic because he can't move anymore. He's like, oh Jesus, man, fucking help me, man. It's like, help you like you fucking raped Jeanette, help her like you helped her. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? And like we hear the train coming, and we see this fucking light. He's like, you can't let me die, man. And he's like, hey, just want to let you know, that's not heaven's light bearing down on you. That's the sea train. He's like, fuck you, man. And the thing runs him over. And then we cut. And we are now with Joe Pantoliano, chat. And he plays the character of Ben Urich, chat, who is a recurring character both in the Daredevil comics and also in Spider-Man as well. He's a reporter at the Daily Bugle. They don't use Daily Bugle because they can't use it here since now it's owned by Sony. And so he works for the New York Post, I believe. And he comes in there, and we see literally that the rapist guy has been cut in half. I'm not saying I care about him or anything, but at the same time, it's like Daredevil clearly fucking murders people in this movie. Now, I know in the comics that Daredevil... Again, Daredevil's like the last character you want to cross if you're a supervillain, because, you know, the Avengers get you, you're like, well, you know, you're kind of, you'll be knocked out. You'll be it. It's over. You're not getting anywhere. They'll use your powers. They'll stop you pretty quickly. You know, if you're like a regular guy. Spider-Man he'll give you a good few licks. He'll kind of fuck you up. And Punisher will obviously kill you. But if you know, Punisher's the worst because he'll just kill you. But Daredevil will make you wish you were dead because he's paralyzed people. He does not care. He will paralyze you. He'll beat you till you will never walk again. You'll never be able to eat solid food. You're probably gonna lose a couple limbs, maybe your eyesight. Like you'll lose an eyeball pop out. Like he'll do that to you. And so he'll make you wish you were dead. You're like, I wish Spider-Man was beating me up instead of Daredevil. So he's like. He's not as extreme as Punisher, who will just fucking kill you, but you might, in hindsight, want Punisher to kill you by the time Daredevil's done beating the fuck out of you. At least that's how it is, Jeff. He'll jam your elbow up your ass. He'll fucking put your head up your own asshole. I mean, he'll do all that shit. You don't want to accost Daredevil shit. You're like, fuck. Maybe Moon Knight, him and Moon Knight are kind of on the same level of like, you don't want to have to go up against them at all because you will get fucked up. But then we got Joe Pantoliano as Ben Urich, and he comes in, he's like, so did Daredevil do this, Commissioner? And the Commissioner's like, there's no such thing as a Daredevil, Joe Pantoliano. And he's like, oh yeah? And Joe Pantoliano's smoking a cigarette, and he throws the cigarette on the ground, and apparently he knew that there was gasoline on the ground because, or like, I guess kerosene, it's not gasoline. If it was gasoline, it would explode, but it's kerosene on the ground. And it forms the letters DD, I guess, for Daredevil. And I'm like, why would Matt Murdock do that? I guess that's his calling card. But at the same time, I feel like that would still really dangerous to leave kerosene in the fucking subway. And fucking New Yorkers love to smoke, and you know they would have thrown something down, would have set themselves on fire. But, and I guess it doesn't matter. Who fucking cares? It's like, it's a cool scene because he spelled out DD. And Joe Pantano is like, yeah, okay, Daredevil doesn't exist, so see you later, you fucking asshole. And he leaves. We then cut back to Ben Affleck, who has returned home from murdering someone. This man is a lawyer. I mean, he's breaking the law constantly. But he goes inside, he realizes he has a mask, and he's just hurting shit. He's fucking bleeding, takes the mask off, not looking good, looking tired as shit. Goes to his answering machine. Some lady's calling, I think her name is Lisa, and she's like, she has like an Irish accent. She's like, Matty, I've called you so many fucking times and you haven't answered back. And it's like last night, I wish you were there. We slept. Yeah, you fucked me. And then you got up and you didn't tell me and you were gone. I can't keep doing this with you, Matty. And he's like, it's over. And he doesn't give a shit. He just does not care. And he goes to the shower chair and he's showering. And he like literally is just taking his teeth out. Like he lost a tooth. He just fucking lets it and drops in the shower. He's like, I don't give a shit. And then he goes into his little sarcophagus, his isolation tank chat, where he can turn it all off. It's like, this guy is not he's not healthy. He is not healthy right now. After that, we're at the next day. It's next day. And he goes to his priest. So again, Daredevil's Catholicism is a huge part of the character, and they literally only use it for symbolic scenes. Like, it'll be cool if, like, he was in front of the stained glass window, or if his blood was going upon the face of the Virgin Mary, and he's Jesus, he's represented. It's like, that's all it. But, like, this is the only scene where he really has a conversation with the priest, and he's like, please forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. And the priest is like, fucking again? How many people are you going to kill, Matt? He's like, I swear to God, Father, this will be my last one, but this city needs justice. And I'd be like, we have Spider-Man. We have Spider-Man at this point, okay? Don't worry. The fucking muties are walking around and shit. There's that vampire hunter. They got it, all right? Stop killing everyone, Jesus. And he's like, I promise, Father, I won't kill anyone. It's like, I know you're lying. Say 3 Hail Marys and an Our Father and get the fuck out of here. And that's all you need to do, chap. And so to alleviate his guilty conscience, he goes to the Padre, lets him know that he's killed some guy, some jabroni, and then he goes about his day, Chad. And he meets with Foggy Nelson, Chad, Jon Favreau, who doesn't really get to do anything in this movie. He's there. I mean, he's very. I know that Jon Favreau is very good friends with Ben Affleck and things. They have a great relationship. But he doesn't get to do anything. And Foggy's whole character is, we need more clients, Matt, okay? We need more money. And Matt's like, we have great clients. It's like, the clients that we get are the clients no one else wants. They don't have any money. He's like, but they pay us. They do pay us. He's like, we were paid in fish. I guess they represented some fishmonger, some fish, I don't know. He's like, it was half Cthulhu, half human abomination. And he paid them in fluke. And it's like, if you live in fucking New York City, you need to make a lot of fucking money, Chad. I mean, you live in these goddamn tenement apartments where it's the size of a coffin, and you're paying probably like $2,500 for to live in that fucking coffin, Chad. You need to making some money. And so I don't know how Matt Murdock is able to afford his fucking loft. We never see Foggy in his place, Chad. He doesn't get enough character development to, like, we don't go to his house. We don't know what Foggy's life is like, Chad. It's like he's there to make jokes occasionally and complain about money. But Maddie's done talking to Foggy, chap, because he smells women. And so we are introduced to like a really creepy thing that Ben Affleck does in this movie, Chad, is that he just likes to smell women in a creepy way, in a kind of a Hannibal Lecter, Buffalo Bill kind of way, where like there's this one woman who walks to this door, and he goes, and Foggy knows you're doing the thing again. Why are you doing the thing? And he's like, that perfume. A beautiful woman just entered the diner, the restaurant they're eating at, and it's fucking Jennifer Gardner, and fucking Jon Favreau's like, oh my God, she's so hot. And he's like, I'm going to go and talk to her. And he's like, oh, I wish I could talk to her. I wish I was an important character in the movie. And so then Ben Affleck, he goes over and talks to his future wife. I guess, the one positive that came out of this movie is that they met each other. They fell in love. They had a couple of kids. I know they're divorced now, but hey, they had a relationship after this film. So I think that's kind of cool. Much in the same way that Ryan Reynolds fell in love with and met Blake Lively, Chad, in Green Lantern. So there is some good that may have come out of these bad experiences. Think of it that way. When he goes over, he's the whole time with her. And he's like, excuse me, ma'am, may I borrow some of your honey? And she's like, Jesus Christ, just get away from me, you poor person. There's honey on every goddamn table. It's a fucking cafe, Jesus. And he's like, I know, but I didn't see it. And she goes, what, are you fucking blind? Oh my God. And she looks up and he's like, matter of fact, I am. And she's like, I am so sorry. I just feel awful. I just feel really awful about this. And he's like, can you give me some of your honey? And she's like, ha 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 ha. Okay. Well, it's right there. There you go. Well, listen, I'm gonna get going now. Bye. And she leaves. And Jon Favreau walks up and he's like fucking smooth. And he's like, she smells good. I'm going to keep following her. I have her scent. I have her scent now, Foggy. And he's like, okay, Maddie. Just remember to hide the body afterwards. And so Matt Murdock, he leaves. And then we get like, Matt Murdock is pretty fucking creepy, Che. He's pretty fucking creepy in this scene, I will say, where Jennifer Garner like realizes that he's following her. And she goes, okay, why are you following me, all right? And he goes, I just want to get your name. I didn't get your name in the diner. She's like, I don't have one, okay, Jesus. And he grabs her arm. They're passing by this park at this point. Grabs her arm. He's like, hey, I just want to fucking talk to you. Just tell me your name. And she fucking flips the hell out, Chet. She goes, bah! And she hits him, but he blocks it, Chet. He blocks it. And she goes, what? And then we get the weirdest but this was the thing. This is the thing during this period of time, Chet, where screenwriters and directors were like, we need to have superhero battles in the park, in a playground environment. Like the scene that I always think of is the Catwoman one where she's fighting Benjamin Bratt, like playing basketball with him, which is like, why is this happening? Here we get another infamous scene. This is a year before that. I imagine this inspired Catwoman, chat. And they are literally fighting on seesaws. This is the next action scene, chat. We go from fighting at one of the leftover sets from The Crow and then basically cutting a rapist in half to now a seesaw fight. And then all the kids who are playing basketball are like, kill them all. It's like a gladiator match on the fucking fence. Little savages, chat. Thank you, Lupus Antonis. He turned from Matt Murdock to just Ben Affleck. I guess he did. I want to talk to you, fucking Jennifer. This is drunk and shit. But they fight and they literally get on a seesaw and they're going fucking back and forth and he's using his stick to block her thing. It's like, it's dumb. It's really, really dumb. Eventually it ends where they're both kind of like at a draw. And I think she like pushes him, knocks him down a little bit. And she goes, and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work. She literally looks at him straight face and goes, yes, I will go out with you. And my name is Electric Nachos. And I'm like, no, it's a dumb name. Still to this day. And so we then learn that you're like, oh, what's her name going to be? You know, she's obviously, Northern European, typical, and that's probably where her ancestors came from. Makes sense. Came over from the state. No, she's Greek. And it's like, bull fucking shit, she's Greek. No, she is not. She is not Greek, chat. I don't think she's even in an olive before. I doubt that. They're trying to sell us that this actress is Greek. Give me a fucking break. But her name is Electric Nachos, and he's like, that's such a beautiful name. I love nachos. And so for the rest of the review, chat, no, her name is not Elektra Nachos, okay? Her name is Electric Nachos. And so for the rest of the review, I'm going to call her Nachos, chat, because it's easy for me to remember. Where are we at this point? Yes. Then she agrees. She's like, okay, well, walk me to my, home. And he's like, cool. And so, no explanation as to what just the fuck happened. They're just walking stuff, and they're going on about their lives and how she's like, I hate being rich. Don't you just hate being rich and having, all the money in the world? Doesn't that, fucking suck? And he's like, yeah, you're great. You're just great. I love you. And it's like, oh, this whole thing, I have too much money. I can't enjoy myself. Her dad is I don't know, Taco Nacho. I don't know what the hell his name is, chat, but Taco Nacho, he's actually He's like, he's the underling to the Kingpin. He's like the Kingpin's lieutenant, I guess, the number 2, if you will, in the Kingpin organization. And so, yeah, so Taco Nacho is very protective over Electric Nachos, Chad. But they're walking, and there's like a weird moment in the movie where they're walking over a curb because she's like so infatuated with Matt Murdock. Because he's like, oh my God, you're like a blind guy, but you can see really well. And he goes, oh, watch your step. She's like, how did you do that? So wait a minute. I love that in this scene, chat. She's literally fucking amazed. Like, how did you know about the curb? And yet she does not bring up the fact. Like, how the fuck did you kung fu battle me? I've been trained by master assassins, for 20 fucking years. Since I was 5 years old. And like, how did we draw? How did we come to a draw? No. How did you know the curb was right there? Give me a fucking break. Anyway, eventually he drops her off or something. I suppose, chat. And she's like, are we going to, like, meet up later? He goes, hell yeah, we are. I can't wait to do it. It's going to be so much fun. Eventually, Chad, we transition to the Kingpin himself, Michael Clark Duncan. He has now entered the movie about 30-plus minutes in, and he's talking with his man, Wesley, Chad. He's got his little white boy assistant, Chad. He's got his underlings and things, and apparently he's being told by Wesley that Taco Nacho does not want to be a part of the Kingpin organization. And fucking Kingpin's like, well, fuck him. Fuck him. He can't leave. No. I can't have it getting out there that someone's leaving my organization, even though no one knows he's the Kingpin. He's an entrepreneur in business. It doesn't fucking matter. They're very inconsistent with that because he has this sterling reputation, except for certain characters who know he's the Kingpin, even when it's obvious that they're not supposed to know. It's like, it's very confusing. Like, later on in the movie, like, Matt Murdock's like, you're a criminal, but he does not know that Kingpin is Michael Clark Duncan. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? How do you... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No, don't forget his cool-ass theme song by Nerd. I forgot. I forgot about his theme song. Thank you for the 5 videos, though, Luke the Boss. But he's walking around, and he's like, okay, what we're going to do is Taco Nacho can't leave, but I need to get some of this heat off of my tuchus, okay? So we're going to kill him. We're going to send an assassin after him, and then we're going to make sure evidence leaks that he is the Kingpin of crime. But Wesley, I need the best assassin of them all. Bring me Bullseye. And then we cut, and we get to the most ridiculous fucking character in the movie, chat, which is Colin Farrell. Again, Colin Farrell, I think he's a great actor. I think he could have made a good Bullseye. I do. But wow, I just do not understand what the decision was for this character. And so he's very Irish, chat, where literally we have a hip hop song where one of the lyrics says, top of the morning to ya. And he's in a pub drinking beer, playing darts, chat. I guess he challenged a very obese Cockney man to a dart battle, which again, that guy shouldn't have done that. His name is literally fucking Bullseye. He's a bullseye in the middle of his goddamn skull, and he's drinking a beer while he's not even looking, throwing the darts at the wall, and gets them all, Chad, just always in the middle. Always in the middle. And the guy's like, oh, my life savings, oh no. And then he like finishes the beer, and we get a can that's not actually Colin Farrell burping, it's a can sound effect. It's like, okay, his lips literally didn't move. It didn't come out, whatever, it doesn't matter. But he gets a beeper. He has a beeper, chat, because this is still the early 2000s and beepers are still around. And he gets a little beep from the Kingpin, says, hey, come to New York City. I want you to kill Taco Nacho. And he's like, sounds good to me. And he has like a leather jacket. And every time he puts it on or moves, it makes a rattlesnake sound. And so I'm like, this is a lot of different elements going. He wears all black. He's in all black leather, chat. And every time he moves or steps around or makes a swish or like turns, rattlesnakes. And there's like a little hiss sound. But before he leaves, chat, he wants the money that he is owed from the very obese Cockney man. The Cockney man comes over, he's, all right, I'll pay you. And he comes over, chat, he produces the $20 or something, and then he's about to leave, chat, but then the Cockney man says, yeah, fucking Irish wanker. And he shouldn't have said that, chat. Top of the morning to ya. Because then Colin Farrell turns around, he's like, you shouldn't be saying that to me. You shouldn't be saying that that to me, you fat fuck. And then he takes off he's wearing like a beanie, like a knit beanie, where he has scarred the top of his face into a bullseye. Because in the comics, Bullseye just wears he's a costume of a bullseye in the middle. That's what it is. It's very simple, chat. And they're like, no, we got to make it fucking edgy and extreme. And so let's literally have him where he scarred himself. And he's like, do you know why they call me Bullseye? And he's like, no. He's like, that's because I never miss. And he's like, he's reaching for something under his jacket where you hear that. It was like, oh, there's fucking snakes everywhere. Oh, shit. But he produces a paperclip. Everyone's like, oh, he has a fucking paperclip. Look at this guy. And he then takes the paperclip, and it's very weird here, where he fucking, I don't know how, he breaks off little pieces of it, and he throws it at the guy's double chin, into his George Lucas sack, chat. Now, I don't think those are big enough to penetrate his throat to kill him, because there's so much girth in that Cockney man's George Lucas sack. But apparently he did, because he went, and they all hit him. He goes, and he falls down dead, and no one calls the hospital, Chet, even though they just saw this Irish guy who sounds like a fucking snake and who has a bullseye in the top of his head kill this man with a paperclip. But it was like, okay. And we then move on, and we're not done yet, Chet, because we are on a plane where Bullseye is in coach. This guy is a master assassin. He's been around the world. Apparently not. Apparently he's fallen on a hard time, Shetty. He's taking bets in English pubs and stuff with fighting off obese Cockney accented gentlemen. And he's in coach. And he's like, it looks awful. And he's sitting next to this is kind of like an unnecessarily cruel scene. To me, look, the best thing about me is this seems pretty cool as a kid. Oh, the one in the bar. I don't remember if I liked it or not, but now I don't like it. I know I don't like it now. No, 90. RD, if it out, RD, have a great night. But this scene always didn't sit well with me when he kills the grandma. I'm like, I don't like this at all. This makes you feel uncomfortable. Where he's sitting next to this grandma who's talking about her family or something and her cats. He's like, I love my cats. And he's like, oh, I fucking hate you. But she can't hear anything. And he literally takes a peanut and he angles it in such a way where he flicks it and it goes right into her mouth and she fucking dies. She fucking dies right there and collapses on him, chat. And then this stewardess comes on over. He's like, oh, is she sleeping? And he goes, yeah, she's dead tired. It's like, you stole that from Commando, Colin Farrell. And then and she's like, do you need anything? He's like, yes, I do, darling. I need more peanuts. And he gives more peanuts, chat. So the kill the grandma scene always kind of fucked me up. I was like, Jesus. He's like, he's really bad if he's killing grandmas, Chad, and killing fat, obese, Cockney George Lucases. It's like, my lord. Eventually we cut back to Hell's Kitchen, and Daredevil, he's hunting criminals again, Chad. He wants to find out about Kingpin. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. And he tracks down this one guy. I think the guy steals a purse or something. I think that's what happens. Yeah, that's what happens. So I think he spots this guy who's steals a lady's purse. And he follows him into his apartment complex. And he just beats the fucking shit out of him, Chad. I mean, it's just take the person, maybe call the police. Hey, this guy's a fucking thief. And they can corroborate with the witness. You can do something. He's like, no, I'm going to he beats the fuck out of this guy, Chad. Just going to town. And he looks over because he hears and right next to him, not a foot away, is the guy's son, obviously. And as the guy's like, look away, son. Look away. And the kid's like, oh. And Daredevil's like, I'm not the bad guy. I'm not the fucking bad guy. Where his fist is covered in blood and meat. And then he goes outside where it's raining. He goes, I'm not the bad guy. You kind of are the bad guy. You kind of are. You were probably going to kill that man. You've killed people before. You are a bad person, Mr. Murdoch. Eventually, after all that killing, or all that crying, all that beating up dads, you don't even know if he returned the person. I have no fucking clue. Duck and Harry, have a great night, Stefan. Thanks so much for the support. Appreciate you, good sir. He's like, I want to share my life with Electric Nachos. And so he calls up Electric Nachos and he's like, I want to take you to my favorite part in the city. And I think they go on top of the roof of her building or his building or whatever. I think it's her building, right? You can see, he's been up there, Chad, probably just jerking off the whole time, smelling her scent, like, multiple MIGs from Silence of the Lambs. And the reason why he wants to do this, Chad, because he wants to see her. So apparently when it rains, he sees the best. And thankfully in this movie, it's raining all the fucking time. So, wow, convenient. But it starts pouring rain down on both of them, Chad. This is the first time where sees her. And he's like, oh, you're so beautiful. And then they start fucking making out and stuff. Look, mostly about is, what's up with Ben Affleck playing superheroes who go too far? He always, it's nuts. I guess he just likes that for whatever reason. But thank you for the base, by the way. And they start kissing and stuff. And it's really hot. Really hot, Chad. You can feel the sexual tension. But then he hears this woman or some guy who crashed into a car, and who was definitely like accosting this woman and like, hey, get the fuck out of here, you fucking broad. I'm gonna smack you around. And he's like, oh shit, I gotta make sure that woman's gonna be okay. But then Elektra Nacho's like, what's wrong? And he's like, I'm sorry, I need to go. I need to take care of something. The city needs me. And she's like, no, have sex with me. And he's like, okay. So that woman, I imagine, was killed or severely beaten by that guy. And so they have sex, Chad. They have sex. And they're talking, and she shows him her necklace. She's like, this is my necklace. It has my name on it. And he's like, this is pretty cool. This is pretty nice. And he likes it. And they're bonding. They love each other, Chad. They've known each other for maybe 2, possibly 3 days. But they do love each other. City don't need you. My titties need you. And he chose the titties. He chose the tatas over justice, Chad. We'll see if that works out for him. I'll let you know. But it's a new day, and Foggy's like, witness me, Mr. Hummendinger. Think of the rain. Everybody on the dance floor. Raid. This is a non-dog pooping raid. Thank you, Mr. Hummendinger. How you doing tonight, man? Spider Monday, Spider Tuesday, man. Spider Tuesday, wherever we are in the world, I guess. Dumpster Fire Games. Happy to have you. Pixel Mine, welcome back, Pixel Mine. A pleasure to have you. Look at all the great people. The Elite. You can't say everyone, Daredevil, but you can always get some ass. Daredevil does fuck often. He has taken ass over justice many a time, chat. Many a time. It's true. Thank you. Firewolf, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Alex Banal, YouTube editor extraordinary Alex Banal. It's Monday somewhere, I suppose. That's true. Welcome, Raider friends. Welcome, Hummendingers. Hope you're doing very well. Absolute pleasure to have you. I'm currently reviewing Daredevil. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner just fucked, and there's no doubt that he should have saved that woman who was definitely beaten or killed by that man who hit her. I don't know. It doesn't matter, chap. It doesn't matter. But no, an absolute pleasure to have you, Mr. Hummendinger. Hope you had a nice stream. Always a pleasure to have you have your audience come over here and have some fun. But the review must continue, Chad. Oh, yes, please do refresh. I asked that if you're coming here for the first time, that you do refresh your browsers because rated viewership does not count towards average viewership. So if you can do that, I would really appreciate it. It's Bennifer. They are officially Bennifer now, Chad. But then Foggy Nelson's like, Matt, stop having sex all the time, okay? I have nothing to do in the movie. And he's like, let's go to this benefit so we can meet rich clients so I can fucking get paid and stop living in my very small apartment that I can't afford. And Ben is like, okay, fine. And so they go to this benefit chat where Matt Murdock runs into Joe Pantoliano, who's talking. He's like, hey, Matt, can I talk to you about Daredevil? I mean, I'm talking to anyone about Daredevil. Can we talk? He's like, I don't really know you, Mr. Yerk, Mr. Joe Pantoliano. And he's like, hey, I like your cane. It's really unique. He literally grabs his cane out of his hands. Like, I like the color. And he remembers, he's like, I take note of that. He's like, give me back my cane. It's one of my most valuable possessions. I can't get around without it. He's like, I apologize. I'm going to go talk about Daredevil with other people in the movie. Thank you very much. But then Foggy's like, Matt, I want you to meet somebody. And who is Ben Affleck introduced to, chat? The Kingpin. But again, we are told in the film multiple times that no one knows that Wilson Fisk is the Kingpin. He's a philanthropist, a businessman, and an entrepreneur. That's what we're told. And yet, Matt Murdock's like, you're a criminal, because it makes no fucking sense. And maybe that was from the director's cut. Maybe there was some other stuff that was just on the cutting room floor. Because, okay, what's going on here? Because Kingpin's like, hey, I've heard about you too. The blind lawyers from Hell's Kitchen. And Foggy's like, well, he's the blind guy. I'm the guy that can see. It's funny. It's like, we got a thing going on. And he's like, listen, I heard you guys do good stuff, even though they clearly do not because they have lost more cases than they've won. But fucking Wilson Fisk is like, I need some more lawyers on my payroll. I've gotten bored of my old lawyers, and I like you two boys. I think you do good work. I want you guys to represent me in future endeavors. And Foggy's like, I can get paid money now? Like, you're not going to pay me fish? And he's like, I mean, I can give you fish. He's like, no, I'll take money. He's like, okay, I'll pay you, yes. But Matt Murdock says, excuse me, Foggy, but no. We can't represent Mr. Fisk. I'm sorry, we can't represent you, Mr. Fisk. And he goes, why not? Because we only represent people who are innocent. Which is like, I'm sorry, that's bullshit. If you're a defense attorney, you're going to represent people who are guilty, man. That's just the fucking way it is. I love it's like, who are innocent. You are in the wrong fucking racket to be a lawyer. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's like whether they're guilty or not. You, as a lawyer, you got to represent that fucking person. But, you know, Kingpin, he just says, well, we all get our hands dirty every once in a while. And he walks away. I'm like, what? And Foggy is rightfully mad at him because he's like, why did you say that to Wilson Fisk, the businessman, entrepreneur, and philanthropist, who, as we know at this point in the film, well, that most people know, is just a good guy. He's just a good guy. It's a guy from the Bronx. From the Bronx that fucking, you know, made a name for himself. No one knows no one knows that he's the kingpin of crime. And Matt Murdock's like, I just don't like him. It's because he's black, isn't it, Ben Affleck? Racist. Daredevil is confirmed racist, chat. I knew it. I knew there was something. He should, wouldn't that just blown your fucking mind? If I was Kingpin, it's like, it's because I'm black, isn't it? That's why it is, motherfucker. I've been like, whoa. Oh my God. That would have changed the tone of the movie completely. Oh my Lord. Where are we now? Oh yeah, fucking Kingpin's Lieutenant Taco Nacho's there, and he's like, I will no longer work for you, Kingpin. Kingpin's like, okay, man, I'll see you later. Hope you and your daughter have a great life. And he's like, really? He goes, yeah, man. Do what you gotta do. And so he's like, cool. And so he goes in his limo. And he drives, but fucking my Matt Murdock, he hears rattlesnakes. He's like, what's making a rattlesnake sound in the middle of New York City? It's Bullseye, Chad. Bullseye has appeared on the scene. He's driving a motorcycle, which sounds like an army of snakes, because he's going after Taco Nacho, Chad, at the request of the Kingpin. And we get a super fucking obnoxious scene where he's driving in the middle of New York. First of all, there's no way you'd be able to drive in New York traffic that way. That's bullshit. But he's driving on these clear streets in the middle of downtown Manhattan on a fucking motorcycle, which then he's like, oh no, that's not even the most ridiculous part. He literally stands on top of the handlebars and makes a Christ pose like this as he's somehow able to, I didn't know that Bullseye could do this. He's somehow able to control the vehicle with his feet. And he is approaching the limo of Taco Nacho. He then sits down. I think he throws some stuff at the tires. Like he has these ninja stars. He throws them at the tires. He then sits down. So again, you didn't really need to even stand up in a Christ-like pose, but okay. I have my ass up headline, white lawyer from Queens refuses to represent self-made black entrepreneur. You could fall. That would have been fucking brilliant, man. That would have been funny. Because I'm black, isn't it? No. I give the 5 minutes. He then gets in front of the vehicle and he throws more ninja stars, which kills Taco Nacho's guards. Taco Nacho then gets out of the car, but chat, before he's able to kill Taco Nacho, Daredevil, fucking Ben Affleck arrives on the scene, and right before he's about to throw like a ninja star, fucking Daredevil blocks it, saving Taco Nacho. And Bullseye's like, he made me miss. You made me fucking miss. And he's like, yeah, let's fucking fight and stuff. And so they fight. Eventually, it's lame. It's fucking lame. And eventually, he fucking takes Bullseye's billy club, and he goes, rah! And he throws it into Taco Nacho, and it just goes right. And he threw that with some fucking force, chat, because it literally goes through his breastplate, which is hard. That's thick right there. That's thick right there, chat. So the fact that he threw that so fucking hard that it literally penetrated his breastplate, that's why you have that breastplate, chat, because it protects everything up here, some of our most important organs. He went right in there, and it's like, wow, and he killed Taco Nacho, chat. And then Bullseye goes, my name's Bullseye, huh? And then he leaves the scene. Snake sounds. It's like, why is there snakes everywhere? What the fuck is going on? And so then the police show up, and Bullseye can't get his billy club out of Taco Nacho, so he's like, I gotta get going at this point. But then everyone says it was Daredevil. Daredevil was the guy who killed Taco Nacho, even though it was obviously the Irish Snake Man. But it doesn't matter. Eventually, fuck. Oh yeah, and Elektra's like, it was Daredevil, I know it was him, I will kill him. But then, we then cut to a cameo, chat, of Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, you are the autopsy guy. And apparently, he has a relationship with Joe Pantoliano's Ben Urich, and he allows him into the morgue, where he has been studying the billy club that went inside of Taco Nacho. And the reason why Kevin Smith is in this scene, I would imagine, it's like, yes, Kevin Smith, filmmaker, actor, yeah. But he also is, around this time, I think it was just like a couple of years before, it might have been like 1999 or 2000, he did a notable run of Daredevil, which for a while, Daredevil comics were kind of, you know, after Frank Miller, there were some runs, but no one really remembers those. And he did one in particular, chat, which is actually pretty cool, where he used the villain Mysterio. Because Mysterio wasn't really being used, and for a long time, Mysterio, I think he killed Mysterio in this scene. Yeah, he eventually killed Mysterio, I think, in this particular series, and it was cool how he used like a recurring Spider-Man villain as a villain for Daredevil. And it was called the Guardian Devil storyline. It's not bad. I mean, it's not as good as Brian Michael Bendis or Ed Brubaker or something, but it was good. It's solid. It's solid. And that's why he probably, because it's like, oh shit, Kevin Smith wrote a fucking Daredevil comic, and let's bring him in the movie. And so he's like, I want to show you this billy club. Joe Pantoliano is like, okay. And he's like, look at the color, look at this, and look at it, and he goes, look, I also found something where he has this like hidden button on it, and it becomes the stick. It's like, that's Matt Murdock's stick. He's like, it's Matt Murdock's stick. Matt Murdock and Daredevil are the same person. Boom. And Kevin Smith's like, I don't know who you're talking about, because he doesn't know. He's just the autopsy guy. We then cut from that. And Kingpin, he's going to the office, committing crimes, and then, like, 3 of his guys are, like, dead in the middle of his office, because Bullseye's sitting in his chair, and he's like, you know, you could have just knocked. And he's like, but where would the fun be on that? It's like, why are these snake sounds coming from? And he's like, you did great work killing. I would have been fucking pissed. It's like, you just killed. He's like, well, I need better guards. Yes, you do. You need better guards. You do. Kingpin Wilson. And he's like, hey, you did good job with Taco Nacho. I mean, I want you also to kill his daughter, but we'll get to that later on. But hey, I really want you to kill Daredevil. Could you, like, kill Daredevil for me? He goes, consider it done. He made me miss. And he's like, hey, don't get a big ego about this kind of thing, okay? I need to make sure you got your head in the game. I always have my head in the game. I'm Bullseye. He's like, okay. All right. After that, we then cut to probably the best part in the movie, chat, because as we learned earlier, Electric Nachos, she's been trained by master assassins since she was 5 years old, chat. And she's like, apparently though, the only ways in which she was trained was with sandbags. And so I don't know if she set these up or she asked her servants or shit to set her Alfred, if you will, to set these up. And there's all these like random sandbags like hanging in this big ornate room. And she just goes to town stabbing them, Chad. So I'm going to reenact the Jennifer Gardner Electric Nachos Bring Me to Life scene, Chad. Bring me to life! He's nachos. And I just dancing to the song, Shaq. Just dancing to the song. Wake me up inside. wake me up inside, Shaq. Huh? Oh, here we go. Wake me up inside. Wake me up inside. Save me. Save me from the nothing I've become. Wake me up inside. I've been living a lie. There's nothing inside. Bring me to life. Lucy Ducky, I have nothing to say to you anymore. I can't wake up. Did you find Virginia be like, you goddamn right. Ladies, that turn you on. The SpongeBob it is. Oh, there you go, chap. There you go. And so she beats the shit out of a ton of sandbags. I mean, she kicked, I will admit, she kicked their ass. And this scene did popularize this song because this is where it made its debut in this movie, I want to say. And it went to just international success. And legitimately, Chad, it's a good song. I'm not even being facetious or sarcastic. Like, it's a legitimately, really, like, I like it. I don't know what to say. It's good. It's a goddamn great song. And so she kills a whole bunch of sandbags, chap, at this point. And she's like, I gotta go and kill Daredevil. I don't know how she knows where he is, but she figures it out by, I guess, Hell's Kitchen is a relatively small neighborhood. So I guess, hey, I see you. It's like the fucking Mac and Charlie meme from Always Sunny where they're like, you're over there. She just sees something. He's hiding behind some laundry, I think, at one point. She spots him like, you, Daredevil. And she's like, you killed my dad, Taco Nacho. And he's like, I didn't kill your dad. And she's like, liar. She says it in such a weird way. Liar. And they start fucking fighting. And it's not well choreographed at all. Vanessa, good to see you. Hope you're doing very well. Bring me to life. There's not choreographed well at all. And she eventually stabs him. She stabs him like right in the shoulder, like through a window, get the glass in there too. And then she's like, I want to look into the eyes of my father, Taco Nacho, or the killer of my father, Taco Nacho. And she takes off the mask and it's Matt and he's like, and she's like, oh my God, baby, I'm so sorry I stabbed you. And he's like, it's okay. I just want to say that I love, and then we hear hissing with an Irish accent, and Bullseye arrives on the scene because I guess he was fucking watching from the other rooftop, and he's like, oh, I see we have two lovebirds over here. I'm sorry to be spoiling all the fun. And there's like a rat that walks by. There's a rat that walks by him and he goes, and the rat freaks the fuck out and runs away. It's like, I get he's a snake. He's an Irish snake. And she goes, I don't know who you are, but I will defeat you. He goes, all right, little lass, let's see if you can do it. Let's see if you can do better than your father, who I killed. And he's like, you are the true killer. Yes, I am. I am indeed. And so they fucking fight, and it's not well choreographed in any capacity, chat. I mean, Colin Farrell's been in some fight scenes, but Jennifer Garner clearly has not. And, oh boy, it does not work out well for her because eventually she goes, I'm going to throw my sai at you, because she has these sais. That's like Elektra's signature weapon. And she goes, and he catches the sai and goes, ooh, oh, close, darling. But no cigar. Let me try. I'm Bullseye. And he throws it back. And we get like a really kind of fucked up scene. She's like, I'm going to catch it. And she catches it, Chet. She does catch it. But then the camera pans, she's like, oh, it went right through her fucking hand. And so She pulls it out, Chad. She's like, I don't think I'm ready for this. You literally, the only thing you fought are sandbags and Daredevil, and you bested him when you were on seesaws, so... yeah, you weren't ready for this. And so eventually, Bullseye, he gains the upper hand, of course, Chad, and he does the famous kill in the comics where he takes he fucking smacks her in the face, grabs her by the neck, and he goes, let's see if you like this, darling. Ooh, an Irish lover. And he stabs her right in the fucking gut, Chad. It goes through the suit. You see it, like, pointing out the suit. It doesn't go through the suit, but you can see it sticking right through her. And he pulls it out and throws her down. He goes, why don't you two just die together? And he just leaves. I'm like, you want to probably finish off Daredevil 2? He's like, I'll just wait for you guys to kiss and make. And he's like, I'm just gone for a while. Elektra then crawls towards Daredevil, and she's like, my tummy hurts. And he's like, that's because you were stabbed in your tummy. And she goes, oh, yeah. And she dies, and she dies. He's like, no, I'm mad. And he's like, I need to go to a hospital, but instead I'm going to use the power of faith. Jesus Christ himself will cure me of my stab wounds and my many injuries. And then we cut. We're back to where we were in the start of the movie, where he is on top of the church with the cross, all of his blood and entrails coming out. And eventually he falls into the church where the priest from earlier in the movie goes, oh, what are you fucking doing? He's like, forgive me, Father, I'm bleeding over your church. He's like, yes, you're going to have to pay for that, okay? You know how much it costs to get blood out of this fucking wood, out of the mahogany, Matthew? But he's like, let me help you. He goes, no, he's coming. Because I guess Bullseye has just been watching this the whole time. And he opens the fucking doors. He's like, oh, bless me, Father, for I'm a sinner. Snakes. And Daredevil's like, run, Father, I will fight Bullseye in the church. And then we get like a really obnoxious, like, why is this CGI all of a sudden? A CGI fight scene with Bullseye and Daredevil. And they're kind of like, Daredevil's giving Bullseye a run for his money. But eventually, Bullseye figures out that Daredevil is like weak against something other than being stabbed. Yeah. Like Daredevil is super weak, super susceptible to being stabbed by things. But he also learns about Daredevil's sensitive hearing. I think like the organ, he hits like something against the organ, like this metal tube. He's like, oh, the man without fear. Oh, I see that you are indeed afraid of something. And he starts like hitting the organ with this pipe, and that causes Daredevil to freak out. Meanwhile, we cut, and the police are like, okay, we're watching a man dressed in a devil costume and another man who is like a cross between Warwick Davis's Leprechaun, but also a leather daddy gimp. Sir, what do you want me to do? He's like, just shoot the guy in the hands. Which one? He's like, the Warwick Davis Leprechaun leather daddy gimp. He's like, okay, got it. And then he sniper shot goes right through the hands of Bullseye. He's like, oh, I have the stigmata. And it looks like, because we're in a church, they had stigmata, get it? And he's like, please have mercy on my soul. Matt Murdock's like, yeah, fuck that. He grabs him and just thrusts him through the stained glass window. I think at this point, too, I think Daredevil even says, or before that, he's like, please don't have mercy on me. Have fucking mercy. It wasn't me. I was hired. I'm a hired gun. It's Wilson Fisk. He's the kingpin of crime. He is. And Daredevil's like, thanks to the information. And he fucking grabs him, throws it through the stained glass window, and me Lucky Charms. And he falls in the fucking traffic, Chad, and just gets run over by a whole bunch of cars. Eventually, he hits Joe Panciano's cars, and Joe's like, oh, what the fuck? And then we see Daredevil scamper away. At this point, he's like, oh shit, he's clearly going to the abode, Chet, of the Kingpin. Michael Clark Duncan has like 5 scenes in this movie, and he's like, I'm gonna get a good fight scene now. But then we cut to Michael Clark Duncan's tower, his compound, where Wesley, his favorite white boy, shows up. And he's like, excuse me, sir, we just got word that Bullseye was shot in the hands, and he is incredibly maimed. And he's like, I knew Bullseye would fail. He's like, if you knew he would fail, then why did you hire him for the job? Shut up, Wesley, shut up. Tell all the security guards to leave, and I'll be fine by myself. He says, sir, I don't understand. He's like, listen to me, Wesley. I grew up in the Bronx, And that should be all the explanation you need. What the fuck does that mean? I grew up in the Bronx, and I know to handle shit. It's like, okay. So they send all the security home. Wesley goes home too. And then Daredevil, he goes in the elevator where, you know, Wilson Fisk is changing. No, he's just taking his fucking clothes off. He's just like, yep. Oh, man, he just does this butt. Is he gonna fight him naked? Is that what's gonna go on here, Chad? And he just takes off his coat. And we see that Michael Clark Duncan, he's a big man, Chad. He's got a lot of heft to him at this point. He put on 50 more pounds for this role. Got a big old gut. But he's muscular as hell. He's 7 feet goddamn tall, Chad. It's like, woo, baby. But then Matt Murdock, but Daredevil comes in. And it's like, you were the one. You took so much from me. You killed my father. And Kingpin's like, I don't know who you're referring to. You have to be more specific. And then they start fighting. And Kingpin just beats the shit out of Daredevil, Chad, over and over again. And he's like, now I want to see the eyes of my true enemy. And he rips the mask off and he starts fucking laughing. He's like, fucking Matt Murdock, the blind lawyer from Hell's Kitchen. You gotta be fucking killing me. Oh, let me tell you, Maddie. You know, I loved killing your dad back in the day. He was a fucking bum, eating his sandwiches, drinking his beer, eating his gabagool. He had his last gabagool that night. One of the best nights of my life was pounding your father. Mildly sexual, but that's fine. And he's like, well, I have one thing that you don't, Kingpin. And what's that? I have the power of seeing like really, really good, even though I can't really see, but it's my super. Anyway, I'm going to hit you. We find out that Kingpin's entire office has water circulating all around it. He's in a waterfall. And so he stabs a wall and it just shoots out. All the water starts coming down. And that's when Maddie starts. He's like, I can see you. I mean, you'll be able to see Michael Clark Duncan. All right, you could be blind as a fucking bat. You're like, that is Michael coming my way. But he's like, now I can really see him. And he starts fighting him. He starts doing some really good moves, Shep. But Kingpin's still got a lot of mass shit. He's like picking up Ben Affleck. He's throwing him into the fucking desk. He's smashing things on him. But you know. Kingpin should have been careful about the knees, because we actually get like a really cool scene where Matt Murdock literally just lays on his back and he kicks both his feet like. He winds his legs back and shoots him out, goes boom, right into the knees of Michael Clark Duncan. You just hear those things fucking snap, just collapse underneath his ball. He goes, ugh! That felt really good. My fucking legs. And he sells this scene. It looked really fucking painful, chat. And he's like, and he's like, this is for my dad. He's like, do what you gotta do, motherfucker. And he's like, ah! And he like comes down on him, but not in a sexual way. He's about to like stab him with his thing, but he doesn't stab him, Chad. He's like, why didn't you kill me? Because I'm no murderer. I'm not the bad guy. So you could just kill Joe Schmo, but you can't kill the Kingpin. It's like, what the fuck, Maddie? What are you talking about? And as this is a recurring thing where the hero, he'll kill a shit ton of henchmen, but he'll never kill the main villain for some reason. But he's like, justice is served today. And the Kingpin's like, I'll fucking tell everyone who you are. I'll let the world know that Daredevil's Matt Murdock. And he's like, you won't tell anyone in Rikers when they lock you. I guess all the information in Kingpin was leaked. I don't know. You'll never admit it because you'll have to admit that you were beaten by a blind man. And Kingpin's like, good point. And then Daredevil pulls the Batman, funny enough, and Kingpin's like, where'd he go? And he just leaves. And Michael Clark Duncan's like, I'll fucking get you. As the police come and they arrest him. And they arrest the Kingpin, chat. Eventually, we cut to the cafe with Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson. And Foggy's like, hey, sorry about your girlfriend dying and stuff. And he's like, oh, you know, it happens. Because he gets a whiff of a pretty lady, and he thinks it's Elektra, but it's just some other random brown-haired, not Greek girl. And he goes, aw. He's like, I'm sorry about that, Maddie. I'm sorry. It's okay, Foggy. Let's work on these cases. Let's make some money. He's like, real money? No, man. Oranges and fish. That's what we're paid with. Fuck. Eventually, we cut to Joe Pantoliano, chap. Good old Joe Pantoliano. And he's writing a story about that Daredevil is Matt Murdock. Matt Murdock is Daredevil, Chad. It's going to blow up. But he realized right before he's just about to press print, right before it's about to go to the presses, he's like, I can't fucking do it. Because good old Matty, he's doing good. Even though he's murdered a lot of people, he's doing right by the people of New York and by Hell's Kitchen. He's got to go out there and continue to fight the kingpins of the world. And so he steps out of his office, Chad, the Daily Bugle or the New York Post, where the fuck he works at. And I guess Matt Murdock was going to go there to kill him. I assume he's like, I can't let my name get out there, so I'm going to probably have to kill Joe Pantoliano. But he's like, oh, shit, he's walking out. And then he's like, hey, Matty, go get him, kiddo. He goes, hell yeah, Joe Pantoliano. And then we cut to a CGI Ben Affleck like hopping around the city and everything. And then I think there's like 2 post-credit scenes after this, chat. The first post-credit scene, because you're really excited. You want to like, what's next? And we see that he's returned to the rooftop, that he smooched Elektra a lot, and her necklace is there. And on the necklace, it's for somehow there's Braille, and it's her name, Elektra. And he goes, yeah. And I guess that's a connection to the Elektra movie. Did she come back at one point and like put the necklace there? I think. I don't know. There is a cameo. There was a cut. There is a deleted scene from Elektra where Daredevil Ben Affleck does show up in that movie, but it was not in the theatrical release. Because I guess they realized, wow, this movie fucking sucks, and we're just going to cancel Daredevil 2. But then there is another scene. There's a final end credit scene, chat, where we're in a hospital, and Bullseye is just laid up in a bed like this, just like, like in horrible pain. And we see like a fly keeps like landing on his face and like on his nose and stuff, and eventually like flies onto a wall, and we see the fly just going, and we see this like syringe or whatever, the syringe or the scalpel just embed the fly in the wall, and we hear Bullseye go, Bullseye, and then it cuts, and that, my friends, is the end of 2003's Daredevil, chat. My scene by scene breakdown, chat. Not a good movie. A lot of just poor writing overall, underused characters, underwritten characters. Some of the fight scenes are kind of cool, well choreographed. Others are not. The fact that it feels like The Crow so much. It feels clearly the director, Mark Steven Johnson, was a huge fan of The Crow and just like, I just want to make The Crow except for Daredevil. And that didn't really work for me. It's always raining. Yeah, and just goofy. Just goofy. And bad casting too. Like not even I don't think Ben Affleck's badly cast as Matt Murdock. He's not I think he does a fine job. I think had this had a stronger script, and a better director, I think you could have had something here. But I don't think it's his fault. I mean, Jennifer Gardner is woefully miscast. Colin Farrell is ridiculous and woefully miscast in the movie. Michael Clark Duncan, I think, is the only other actor who I think does a good job, but he's in it so little. And he was more hired for his physical prowess than his acting ability, which I'm like, that's kind of shitty. I thought, they should do right by Michael Clark Duncan, yeah, but he did fine. But yeah, it's not nearly. Some people say this is bad. One of the worst comic book films out there. I don't think it's one. It's one of the more middling ones. It's like it exists. It's okay, but there's far more worse films. Like this came out the same year as Ang Lee's Hulk, which I think is much worse. That film is really boring. Where this one you'll be a little bit entertained by a little bit. But, yeah, this isn't like some old bullshit to me. This is like a rental. This to me is like a rental, chat. It's a straight, ordinary rental. There it is, chat. Hope you enjoyed the review. It's an early Marvel, early 2000 sins. Very much so. There was much, much worse. Agreed. No, yeah, Nick Fury's a worst movie. Johnson for this had only directed one other movie, Simon Birch. Not a successful dramedy, so to pick this one as second. That's odd. Yeah, I don't know why they would go with him. Who knows? And he went on to direct Ghost Rider, which I would say is a worse movie than Daredevil. Yes, he didn't get better. He did not get better. But I hope you enjoyed the review, chap. You know what? I think we all deserve a little treat. After that. Let's go ahead and watch the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer again. On to better things, Chad. On to better things. Luke the Boss, thank you so much. Appreciate that.